You felt sleepy, but you're bargaining with yourself just 10 more minutes, even though there's no real reason to stay up late. This experience is common enough to have its own name: revenge bedtime procrastination. Over time, I have found four health psychology informed ways that help me change the way I think and feel about sleep and what I need to do to sleep at a more consistent time. But first, what is revenge bedtime procrastination? I bet that many of us already know that sleeping earlier and at a consistent time tends to be better. But sometimes we delay our bedtime because we feel like we lost the time for ourselves earlier in the day and we want to reclaim some me time, even though we know that lack of sleep will make us feel worse the next day, even though we feel guilty for doing that. But I want to say that it's not your fault. By bedtime, our self control and energy levels are already quite low, so persuading ourselves that sleep matters, that we should sleep now, does not always help. For me, there was also an additional feeling of guilt that I hadn't done enough today. So staying awake naturally felt like an opportunity to extend the day to become more productive. Ironically, I often just scrolled, did nothing that felt useful, as if being useful is actually helpful late at night. And worse, tomorrow I often felt guilty, easily irritated, and tired. Going through this for years, especially during my doctorate, made me realize that this is not simply a lack of self control. Instead, it might be more helpful to tap into our automatic motivations, such as our emotions and existing habits. It starts from exploring and changing our beliefs and motivations for sleep. When we treat sleep as a non negotiable, like brushing our teeth, we organize our days and environments in a way that makes sleep at a certain time possible. For example, in the previous video, I talked about not having any caffeinated drinks after lunch. Second, I have a fixed time to start getting ready for bed. I kept a sleep diary for several months to learn about my sleep patterns. Now I know that I need around 8.5 hours of good sleep to feel rested the next day. When I started doing this, I negotiated with myself every evening. Just 10 more minutes. So it did take some discipline to begin with, but over time, this becomes a habit. And as you know, habits don't require constant willpower or decision making. So, my second suggestion for you is to know how much sleep you need to feel rested the next day and work backwards from the time you usually wake up to figure out the time you need to start getting ready for bed and try committing to it. It may take time, but you will get there. The third thing that helped me is to make sleep the reward. Start paying attention to what you gain after sleeping well. For me, when I feel rested after a good sleep, I take a minute or two just to savor those feelings so my body remembers how good and important it is to sleep well. One night of good sleep turns into two, and over time, we start building up evidence that sleeping earlier and at a consistent time give you something valuable tomorrow. If you can't think of the last time you slept well, imagine it. Think about a time when you feel calm, relaxed, and clear in your mind and body. Fourth, at some point, you may be curious and want to get to the root cause of revenge bedtime procrastination earlier in the day, when we still have some energy and willpower left, not late at night. Ask yourself, what may make me want to delay my bedtime today? Unhelpful thoughts like I haven't achieved enough today or I deserve another hour of free time. By anticipating and planning for these barriers in advance, we feel more prepared when they actually happen. Things that work for me when I have these unhelpful thoughts are reminding myself of what I did that day. Even something as simple as cooking myself a meal, practicing self compassion by saying kind words to myself, and building in some me time throughout the day. Revenge bedtime procrastination is not simply about not knowing that sleep is important or a lack of self control. There are real emotional reasons, behavioral, and thinking patterns behind this. And when we learn more about these mechanisms and our own sleep patterns, it's possible to redesign our days and environments in the way that makes sleep at a certain time possible. If you feel comfortable sharing, let me know in the comments below what keeps you awake even when you already feel tired. I'll see you again next week.